Good morning. This is the work session for the Guam Power Authority. Today's date is March 20th, and the time is 8:30. Members present are Commissioner Dueñas, Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Mjaco, Commissioner Santos, and Commissioner Sanchez is excused. Okay, John B., you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Two resolutions for your consideration next week. And again, the first one is Resolution FY 2025-13. Again, this is related to authorizing us to continue on a month-to-month basis for voice and data services that we have a bid out for. Our team has relooked at the numbers, and really as a result of the commissioning increasing my authority to 1.5, this project will be like 1.1. So I'll be tabling this.
Cool.
Is that why it's not on the board book?
Yes, that's good.
Who's the current provider?
I don't have that information. Do you know, John?
We have for data, we have Docomo. I think for the and
Yeah. So
Okay, and do they operate redundantly or?
no, they're separate. There's
They're
a
totally
OT,
separate.
Yeah, there's a OT and IT.
Okay.
The IT side we used to use Docomo for broadband. For the cell phone, I mean the like desk line phones, those are PDS.
Okay.
yeah, that's
Now-
what it's going to be. Yes.
With our fiber, our own fiber, as we move forward, do we then intend to be our own provider internally? I mean, what's the grand plan with the fiber? Other than because we
Yes,
have it?
it's really to provide our own services, and
Right.
most especially throughout the substations and communications of the grid. That's primarily the case, and again, we're about 60% there. And maybe in the next couple of years, we'll get there.
But do we intend to, for example, on the, yes, we call it VoIP, on the internal protocol, voice over, which is to us internal, right? Is that something we want to entertain to be on our own and not have to live off PDS, for example? I mean, that's
we
the
haven't.
reason why you do that, right?
Yeah,
You have the ability to,
we'll take a look at that, Mr.
Yeah.
Chair. I don't have that answer right now, but we'll take a look at that. Because yes, there's been the voice over data that we have has been again since the beginning of.
right.
We moved here in 2014, no, and stuff. So we'll take a look at it.
Okay. Colleagues, anything else on this particular resolution? Or, I'm sorry, that it's not before us.
Okay.
All right.
Resolution 2025-14. Again, this is for month-to-month extension on our professional printing, mailing, processing, and other services due to the ongoing litigation. This has been several years now on this process. John and Marion can explain a little bit more, but it's before the Superior Court. We are starting the process to actually do it ourselves. Am I correct, John?
Yes, there's a bid out for Xerox machine that can do printing and folding. But we were waiting for two options now. Because one, the case, we prefer to do it outsourced externally, but they do a much better job than we can because they're professionals. We're still learning how that works. So the one of the cases that was in the Superior Court, I think it's Superior Court, that went back to OPA and they're still working. I guess opinion from them. The other case we're doing simultaneously. The other one we're doing is looking at doing it internally. So we're looking at Xerox machines. There are a lot of there are things that Graphic Center does that we can't do. And there's like a newsletters, stuffing it together. There's some capabilities we don't have. If we do it ourselves, we would just purely printing and stuffing it. So
Colleagues, go ahead.
So how is the litigation taking?
It's because the Superior Court remanded it to the OPA, and the OPA doesn't
there was no other legal recourse for us to rebid it, use another vendor, put it out, you know, how do we have our hands tied?
That was the bit to do that. So when that happens, it's kind of our hands get tied until
Can't
we
you
can
cancel the
resolve.
bid and rebid it?
I think that would be seen as an end run around litigation process.
Seems
Taking
like
too
it's
long,
taken
yeah.
forever.
No settlements in the picture?
There was an offer for settlement, but the way they're asking for is almost like.
Not even close, okay,
Yeah, that was in our favor.
okay.
And there was another bidder that would had the low bid versus the one, the existing one. And the existing contractor is the one that protested, and so we're in that quandary. You know?
So what's the current timeline then to resolve it? Is there one?
It's up to the public auditor.
I do want to address Commissioner Limtiako's question. So there is we could cancel the bid if the intended awardee decided that the price was no longer valid. However, that awardee, the intended awardee, has been reaffirming the validity of their price. So for years, they have intended to go ahead and you know, have that valid price. That was a really, really good proposal, just like what John Kim was saying.
Bien? Walking through this place. Only I can speak from experience about Xerox. Please do your analysis very carefully on this because it is a valid alternative, but it has its challenges, and we use it at Take Care. Okay, we have the biggest horse you can get to do this kind of stuff, print stuff, but it's also very cumbersome, and you're taking one step further because you have to do this monthly, and you have to stuff it, and then you're tying in your database to your, it's just a, that's why you outsource this kind of stuff, because you have become someone else, and I guess for me, it means you want to hire somebody, and I'm not too keen on stuff like that, because this is stuff you can outsource. And it's just regret, we can't get past this procurement stuff. I think please show us the analysis on this, because there's a click cost.
Yes.
And if my math is right, and we have 45,000 customers, even at a penny, and I know it's not a penny.
Yeah.
So, So again, when we get to, if you go down this road, please share your cost-benefit analysis on this one, because it's I would like to see how the numbers play out. Right?
Understood. And there's no other creative way that we can come up with a new procurement that could get us the services that we need at a necessarily, cover the same scope, like an IDIQ bid or indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, where you could just have a bunch of bidders bid on it and you can select.
It's a challenge because again, we still have really
What I could do, sorry, is move the public auditor hearing. I don't know what'll get us, but it would at least be something, some movement.
Okay, but the month-to-month pricing is it where is it competitively? Are we paying just whatever they put on the month-to-month, or is there some sort of competitive standard that we can see where that pricing is at?
the month-to-month pricing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is what we were paying before.
Yes. Oh, it's the same pricing, so it hasn't escalated.
Since 2020, or from that time on?
Is it more than the current offer or bid?
Yes.
By how much?
I think we,
Is it
Price
material?
opening. I believe it's materially
Higher?
the current cost.
Gotta resolve it.
Yeah.
Let's figure out a way to resolve it.
That's it, right?
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Just to have to actually two areas for discussion.
Yeah.
And basically is to update the
Okay.
commission. I would like to start with the generation capacity update. And again, the GM report is available for
Yeah,
yourself.
I know.
I'll just
I got
let the commission review
I
it,
think-
and if they have any questions, I can answer, or even on Tuesday.
Well, I guess just to start, John B., can you just get us up to speed on what happened yesterday in the northern area and then?
That's where I'm heading,
Okay,
Mr.
good,
Chair.
all right.
The one thing in the as they were flashing those numbers, one thing that is showing is that we're starting to grow.
Demand is,
Starting
okay.
to grow up. It's starting to point up. First, the 12-month moving average, and then the 2-year,
All of a sudden.
it will start
There we
to
go.
come up.
In
So
line-
again,
In line with your estimate?
yes.
Your forecast?
Again, that's still very difficult to come up because of the wild card here has been the DoD. DoD, case in point, Marine Base, no? They're going to consume, they wanted 6 megawatt, and then to bring in 5,000 Marines, but now it's less, they were going to bring 500, and maybe they're going to hold them back in Japan because of the China issue. No? So those again start going. So we're trying to re-up, including the fact that the DoD wants to is letting us know that they're going to grow by about 2.5 times between now and 2033. How fast and all that, we don't actually have that yet. So we're making our best assumption and staying on the conservative side, because again we have to continue our programs. But and again, there's other things in play that. For example, data centers are starting to come in, no, or knock on the door, but and part of that could be because again our cost of energy will be coming down, and furthermore, our goal is really to provide it on a sustainable basis, and so therefore those are other things that could impact the rates in the future. So we're staying on the conservative side at least so that we can pay our Okudu bills, and then we will. Put together a more refined projection as we go along. There is one that actually UFS has done, but which is, just it's really like a 1%, if I remember correctly, is that 1 or 1.5%? Again, last week was a challenge. Again, so this chronology is to give you an idea as to what has happened and where we are now. And let me see here. So on Monday, we had the situation, of course, that Capital has been down for like 2 or 3 weeks first under repair, and then we decided to go ahead and complete whatever overhaul, whatever maintenance we need to do, so that once she comes up, we don't have to bring her down again in March or April. In the meantime, then PD7 acted up, so we lost 2, and then also whenever campus or baseload unit goes down, it usually takes 10 days to 2 weeks to repair. During that period of things, we become susceptible to other units having issues that have to be repaired. And so therefore, that's what has kind of happened. It compounded. Campus 2 went down, then PD7. And then PD 8 and 9 need to come down for liner repairs, 1 day or type of repairs that we couldn't do. So then they start getting limited. So we were actually short about 14 megawatt, but that's the time that we asked Ukudu to come on the line and kind of help us, doing their testing during that period. So we didn't load shed on that Monday. Tuesday, again, we were faced with that, but Ukudu was not available at that time, but we did get PD7 on the line on Tuesday. But at that time, again, it didn't come on the line until later, just before peak. So we did let the load shed 11 circuits. The longest, and again, that's whenever we load shed our customers out there, they have a specific time from 6 to 7, if you will. At the top of the hour, we change the sequence, no? So therefore, between that 1 hour period, we did load shed about 5 to 6 circuits per sequence. The longest was 26 minutes, no? When PD7 came back on the line, we had 6 megawatts to serve. We met the peak of 235. Next day, Thursday, we were supposed to be fine, but then Jigo City had a hard time starting up. Huh? Took an hour and a half to get it on the line. So again, we had to load shed similar to the day before. And again, that's because that's the time that the renewables, the solar, all go down, and then we have to meet the peak. To meet the peak, what also happens is there's 30 megawatts of solar PV rooftop solars. Don't have batteries now, so they come into the system. So that changing of the guard between 4 and 6 o'clock is when we start up our generators to meet that evening peak. So again, that delay caused us to load shed again the same amount of circuits. The longest this time was 17 minutes, no?
What is Jigo CT's capacity?
20, right here. Jigo CT. Oh,
Not on there.
oh, I have it under others. The Jigo still at 20. The JH is at 20. Dedido's at 18.1 and the other one is at 12. We're waiting until we get through and we're going to make some change out the part of the combustors and that. So then again, over the weekend, Saturday, Cabras number 2 came on the line, and Cabras number 2 started generating about 23 megawatt. PD8, we're able to repair. But when in the PD8 and 9, whenever you make repairs on the liners or the pistons or all of that, you have a running in program. So it's not like you can go right away up to 44. It's like going 13, 15, 17. Then they watch the temperature of the liner, make sure everything's okay. So again, we were able to make that repair, but again, we're still limited around 25. But again, we had enough capacity. The same thing on Monday. We were able to PT8, although on the line had to be downgraded while they do the running in program. But we still had enough capacity, no load shedding. And then as of Tuesday, the day before yesterday, PD number 8 increased capacity now to 38 megawatts. This one, the 30 still has to be repaired and actually did go down yesterday. And they did make the changes and it come on the line and it will go through the similar process. So right now we're up to 59 megawatts of reserve, so we're back to our typical operation. We're still vulnerable, but again, much better as we move into the Ukudo power plant. The demand again is going to go up in May, so we're preparing all the units for that May, June, July, August. PD8 and 9 overhauls have been deferred, and so the overhauls will begin in April. One unit will be down 2.5 weeks, then after that we'll take the other one down for 2 weeks so that we can get change liners, pistons, liners, rings and all of that, so that they can become more reliable as we move forward to the heavy load period. Again, this is the sequence. I can say that we're better now. We're back to normal. Remember, we didn't load shed anyone since December. And again, whenever we do now, it's one or short periods of time just to go through the peak. So, and again, we've load shed very little since the 2023 period when we had the significant issues. Next.
Wait, go back.
Go ahead,
Who was,
Mr.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Mike.
Go ahead.
You first. Just wanted to,
Ukudu is not considered in reserves.
No. The others are all the CTs, the diesels, and everything. Right now, you have Jigu CT at 20, Machichi at 20, the little 1 and 2 at 18 and 12.30. Tenjo is at 5 and about 15, no? And then Talafofo and Menengan diesels, plus Temis. Temis is there. Those are the others.
And so our agreement covers power purchases prior to commissioning with Ukudu. How do we work that out?
Not being worked out. That's where I'm asking right now.
Oh, but we have to pay for that at one. Or are they just running it?
They just ran it. No. But again, if we want some certainty, no, we're trying to see what agreement I can make with them because it's kind of, you know, I mean, the capacity is on the island. Why can I find a way to try and use it? No, so that's what the concerns that they have. Of course, is that there's a multi-tier. Just KEPCO doesn't own the plan yet, right?
you saw that. what he
Doosan
said.
is the
Siemens was concerned that they're running.
yeah. Siemens is the supplier, and he's contracted with Doosan, who's the EPC, and then KEPCO, and then it's us. So we're asking them. So they have to work out these things because the Siemens, of course, could say, "Well, let's start the warranty period now." And you know, I wouldn't like to interfere with their contractual because everything I do that means more cost to us, right? But I'm trying to find a reasonable set. Well, we'll pay for additional labor or something like that to, you know.
But the fuel that's being supplied is ours, right?
It's ours
I
already.
understood. Okay.
We have allocated so much fuel for them during
To
the
test.
testing period.
Okay.
And stuff. So again, whenever they use that fuel, we're producing energy. And actually, the energy they're producing, is cheaper than our TMS
Conventional.
and our. So we are having some savings as they test. And then I'll show you next the process of where are we in our process between now and September.
Commissioner
Questions?
Martinez?
Yeah.
So John, as we get into the summer months, get hotter or not, what is the scenario from here forward, these numbers?
The scenarios going forward, this is all we can get out of Caribous now, 42 and 40. These two will be up to 43. So that's again 5 plus 13, 18 more from this. This is all we can get from, no, PD7, we're trying to get 5 more out of her. And then her, right? Yeah. And then Greco, that's your contract. They're doing 20 and they've been holding at 20. So that's what we can get out of them. So that's so we'll be up to maybe around 300, 315 here. Right now we're at 299. So we'll get this up a little bit to maybe 65. But then this is going to go up to 250 or 260. So we're going to have similar scenarios. But again, we're doing okay. I mean, not where we want to be. But, you know, again, but we're just keeping the public informed that this is our vulnerable period. The schedule we have provided is your time. So, you know, if you're hearing this buzzing around that there could be load shedding tonight, you know your time is 7 to 8. Maybe go out to dinner or something. And again, we try to religiously stay on that schedule. Other than that, if I can work out something with Okudu, that'd be great because I'll show you next the sequence of what they're going to be testing, which is going to help us somewhat. But again, It's more a matter of when, no, and they're testing and all of that. That's what we have, and again, most of these plans now, after Ukudu comes on the line, we're going to go in and refurbish what we can to stay around because we have plans to retire some units, but again, with the low growth coming, it won't be most likely until towards the end of this decade, no? Towards maybe 2030, before we start retiring generators and get into a really stable sequence. No? Next. So here's an outline really of the Ukudu power plant, the testing through August, and of course the commissioning is September 15, 2025. September 30, if they don't meet, they pay $240,000 a day. Bonus, if you will, not bonus, but additional cost to accelerate the commissioning, which used to be from January 15. We moved it to September 30 of this year. If they get on the line September 15, they get another $1 million, right? And so therefore, that's why I'm putting September 15 here. I'm sure that they're going to try and work that out. All of that means savings to us, no? Because the fuel savings, if you recall, the total fuel savings to the customer is about 18 million. And we're paying 5 million, no? So 13 million net to the customers with the acceleration plan. But the way between now and August and September, and I'm saying August because I won't wait until September 15 to say I'm ready. I would think they will be ready by August. And actually, I asked them to be ready by my birthday, but I don't know whether they're gonna, So,
So John, where are
yeah.
they? Where are they on the seat?
Yeah, let me go through the process and then I'll. So here we are. The way it goes is that we have 3 combustion turbine, 45 megawatt each. No, each has to be tested individually to come up to capacity. Each has been tested at least that they can get up to 47, 48 megawatt.
All 3 of them?
Yeah. So over the past, since the late February and through where we are today, they have tested the 3 units. No. Eventually, they're gonna have to test all 3 units, total full load 135. But that's as we move forward. So the next step is to get the steam generation ready, which is your heat recovery steam generator, or it's like the boiler. It's like the Cabras boiler. So now they're going to be running these 3 units, maybe at 10 megawatts each, producing what drives that is the gas, the hot gas coming out of the steam turbine is now going to go to the steam generator. They're going to surface blow the steam in. They're cleaning up all the tubes and everything, testing the equipment, getting it ready, no? They cannot inject that steam into the steam turbine yet because if it's dirty or any little particle could damage the steam turbine. So this is what they call surface blowing. No? Once they're done with that, then they'll begin to introduce the steam to the steam turbine, and that's when you now have the combined cycle, the combustion turbine and the steam turbine operating, and this is when you get your full efficiency of the thing. So where we are today, they'll be starting this process over the next few days and start blowing the steam. And I'm seeing that sometime in April, they'll be starting to generate some power from the combined cycle. And then they start going through the whole process again. Part of it is making sure that all the auxiliaries, things are, in sync and all of that. So I'm hoping it's earlier, but again, this is the process they have to go through. The reason why the longer period of time is in case something happens and they need to get parts and all of that. So if all goes well, this could happen earlier. So again, once they do that, we test for 198 megawatts, and then we also test for efficiency. They have a contract to provide 51 point, I believe it, yeah, I'm correct, 3% thermal efficiency. Is that what the machines put out? No? And then after that, then we talk about commissioning date. No? And again, that commissioning date is September 15, as targeted. Any questions on this? But this is the process now, and again, it's moving forward. We do have a 135 megawatt that can be utilized there, depending on agreements that could be made, no? And that's what we're trying to make with them now, so that we can avoid load shedding moving forward. But right now, I don't have those agreements. No? I just need to let the commission know we're working on it.
And the water supply, this team,
It's coming from the
all that's resolved now?
yeah, the issue about the NPDES permit and all of that, that's been
They mitigated
Yep.
a portion of it, they still have.
So that's a discharge issue. But my understanding is there was an allowance that US EPA provided because of GWA completing work in 20.
did a diffuser.
They put in a diffuser in the outfall. So because they have not actually worked on the final revise or permit renewal for their NPDS, they've made an allowance to increase the discharge, I guess the mixing zone credits or something to that effect. And so it looks like GWA is working with Ukudu to allow discharge for now, and that when US EPA does issue a final new permit, they should have even a greater, I forget what it's called, but it's something to allow the concentrations to be a little bit higher.
Which I believe could comply within the range that US EPA has temporarily set to allow us to do all this. No? And then, and it appears that the permitting at the end will be will be below the final permitted amount that US EPA. So that was a major concern going in, but I think now it looks like it's being resolved. No?
But how is the discharge adding anything to the inbound effluent?
They're looking at any metals or things like that.
Because it's concentrated now. So it's increased because it's going through, it's a cooling process. So a lot of the water now is just evaporated. And so now you're concentrating the water. So that just increases now the concentration going back into.
Right, so that's and again. So,
Understood.
but the big picture answer is, we're not going to be using water from the aquifer, which is going to help. We're using the effluent from the wastewater treatment plant. And furthermore, we're getting away from like the Cabras power plant now, where we bring in ocean water and cool the condensers and sending out 1.5 degree higher temperature water. That's going away now. Otherwise, that's what we would have had to do with Okudu also. The steam turbine has to be. The steam coming out that's not used by the turbine has to be condensed to water, and then that water again goes back into the system in a closed cycle. Next. So again, that's what I have on the capacity, Mr. Chair. I'll get at the end here. I'll go through the outage. The next one is renewables. I wanted to give you an update on the renewable program that we have. Phase 2 Hanwha Energy USA holding the 40 megawatt solar plant contract termination. If you, as the commission may recall, the original scope was amended, reducing it from a 60 megawatt to a 40 megawatt plant. So we have a chance of meeting the consent decree requirement of providing 100 megawatts of solar by the time we get to retire the consent decree. The KEPCO up here is 60. We were going to get the there was a bid phase 3 on Navy land, about 50 megawatts that that was going to count for the 100. That got protested, and then at the end, the proponent could not hold the price and didn't want to do it anymore, so we had to find another solution. Part of that other solution was the 60 megawatt from Hanwha, but then they couldn't do it because, again, price escalated according to them for transmission systems and everything, and therefore it was not feasible for them to move the project. We renegotiated something to allow for a value to GPA, which was letting them add batteries for a 3-year period. So added 14 point something cents. And at the end, we asked the CCU and the PUC to approve. They did approve it with some concerns and reservation. However, again, in the interest of the consent decree, we moved forward. There were some benchmarks that were milestone that was established, and it was the grounds for terminating the contract if they did not achieve it. One of that, of course, the most significant one is the ordering of the modules, the panels, and all of that, which had to be by February 28th. They did not meet that. We have wrote them a letter of default and to cure. They did not meet the cure, and so therefore we're in the process of now, what you call it, drawing on drawing on the letter of credit or coming to some kind of agreement to bring to GPA ownership $4.62 million, which is the performance bond or performance guarantee. So that now we are garnishing. I can't say anymore. 2 strikes, you're out for me. So what we're going to do is we still have the consent decree and so we will be discussing that with and see how we can satisfy US EPA with that. I hope we could just let this go away with US EPA, because again, I will show that we have a lot of renewables going on the line. We're really cutting our annual import. Furthermore, the commission and everyone in the island went to more expensive fuel in December of 2022. Going from 2% sulfur to 0.2% sulfur at Cabras 1, and then we converted PD 8 and 9 to ultra-low sulfur diesel. So we're really compliant with the ambient air quality standards as of December 2022. So therefore, we really have done a lot, and this is something already that would achieve anyway as part of our renewables goal. So hopefully, this may be something that will go away. So we're going to talk to them and see what we're going to get on that. So I'm not too worried anymore about getting this done. We've done our best. To no fault of ourselves, really. We tried 3 times actually, and strike. Contractors couldn't get it done.
So we've already notified the bonding issuer.
Well, we're working that out right now, and should be any time now. And again, they're thinking they want to pay cash instead of us drawing it down, and so our team is working on that.
The amount is 4 million, right?
4.62.
4.6 million?
Yeah. Yep.
What was the bid? Okay, so they were already awarded, so you don't draw on the bid.
Right. It's called a development security for. But it's something that they're supposed to, as part of the, and it ends up turning into this. I'm not sure if that was what happened in this case.
Yeah. We needed a 1 year security. All our power purchase agreement had a 1 year security. So if they don't produce, then we've gone with that. So this is what, because this was this was a cheaper cost renewable. No? I mean, the island of Guam lost a lot in fuel cost savings because Hanwha did not come true. Remember, the KEPCO is 8.5 cents, no? This was also at 8.5 cents and stuff.
What's the timeline then on this? I mean, we're done, right? For the most part, we
Yep.
just want them to pay up now. When can we expect this money to be in our bank?
This month, I think, with the next few,
So, like,
with
within
the
a
next
few
few,
days,
yeah.
and,
We still have the letter of credit we can draw down.
Right.
If they give us the cash, then we won't draw and then give us a certified. John will work that out. No?
Oh, it was an irrevocable letter, not a,
Yep, irrevocable letter. So it's like we have the money already. It's just we draw it down or they give us the cash. No?
Can I ask what our plans are with the infusion of $4 million? No, again, that's a nice chunk of money to have, guys. And
Yeah.
anyways, now we'll talk about that when it says it's in the bank.
Yep.
And then we'll
And
have a
also
discussion.
we're coming to you, Mr. Chair, with our FY 26-27 budget.
Right.
Again, so that would all.
I mean, if you're asking me today, I would like that money put away.
Yep.
You know, just makes sense because we're not sure yet what our plans are going to be. Okay. All right. Good.
Next, and again, we'll inform also the PUC, but so where are we in phase 4 renewables as of today? We have awarded the KEPCO 132 megawatts. The AG and the ALJ, they all signed up on the contract and all of that. So February 28, 2025, about 3 years from now, we will have 132 megawatts, 67 megawatt battery for 4 hours. So this is now what we're going to use to shave the peak. This is also what we're going to use to help with load growth. Because again, by shaving the peak, it allows us more capacity to grow. What this would do is reduce the total import of oil by another 300,000 barrels per year. And then our renewable portfolio, we're about 15 to 19% today. We're going to be up at 30%, just with KEPCO. Yeah. The others, Cortec contract review negotiations are going on. They have rezoned some properties or whatever. So again, we're trying to get this done next. This is the two that, again, we've brought to the PUC, CCU, and the PUC will be, once we get a contract, provide to them.
There's no battery on that one, right?
Huh?
The Cortec is strictly renewables?
It's got the battery, yeah.
That's the breakdown.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is every one of this have a 50% battery. So Mojave Cortec will provide a 30 megawatt. So that now adds up to our capacity, no? Our capacity to meet load growth and then furthermore to retire other units, no? We start retiring, doing all of this as we ascertain the reliability of the batteries and everything and its operations. So, they were satisfied that, okay, we can get rid of the conventional units to save costs. Mojave, again, there's still ongoing interconnections, discussions. PEC as another group, 20 megawatts, and again, 10 megawatts of battery. That's also still working on Power Solutions, 62 megawatts. So all of these are still in the works. We're going to try and see whether we can get this done before the end of the year and see who's going to be able to do it and who's not. The condition on this is that the price does not change and that they meet what's required in terms of infrastructure to be able to integrate to the system. The other thing about the KEPCO project is a 115 kV line all the way from the Boomwood Hills Memorial Park area, heading towards Agat. About 4 miles of new poles there, tying into existing poles that go all the way to PD, but they'll be upgrading the lines and changing the configuration. That means now that in all big tracts of land in the area of that 115 or anywhere in that area, becomes an opportunity for lower cost renewables, because therefore we're not paying anymore. We don't have to put another big line.
Transmission line.
So that's about 2 cents, and all the savings.
But what would that capacity be? How much more capacity could you add on to the transmission line? There's a limit.
Maybe I'm not the electrical engineer, but I will say anywhere from 100 and close to 150 megawatt. But the other thing that we need is that we'll never reach that, because remember, we're using batteries, and then here's our load in the daytime. We're gonna have these different batteries come on the line at different times to shave the load. So we're not gonna have them all one time sending it into the system. We're gonna dispatch it and all of that. So that's a huge. 34.5 can do it, because it's only got a 28 megawatt capacity. But the 115, like Cabras 1 and 2, one line, that's 132 megawatt capacity there. One line could carry all that load capacity out there. Okay, so that's the next thing. I just provided you the supporting information, Mr. Chair. I won't go through that unless you do. But this is how this is everything in as to the justification as to why we're doing what we're doing. Yep. So the northern outage, Mr. Chair. First of all, this occurred yesterday. 2:21 in the morning. Everyone is asleep, if you will. A fault occurred in Harmon Machechi underground transmission line. Triggered the T501, T500 transformer trip. The way it works is that from the 115, it goes through the T500 transformer and converts that voltage down to 34.5. That 34.5 now goes to distribute all the transmission that goes to Marine Base, Anderson Air Force Base, to Dedidu, to Jigo. So if you recall also, there's 2 of those transformers. The 501 is under overhaul now. It's going to be completed by June. And so only this one was there. So as a result of that, it kind of blacked out the Harmon substation transmission 34.5 transmission system.
This is the one across from the micro mall.
Across from the micro mall. So again, that was at 2:21. No, it didn't black out everyone yet, because we still had a Greco and Greco and Jigo City operating at that time. But then the voltages and overloads start to occur. So therefore, eventually at 3:44, we did have to shut down the unit strip, and customers had to be affected and completely kind of knocked out the northern part of the island, and I'll show you where that is in a minute. So we are continuing to look at this. We have made relaying changes, upgrades of relaying to the northern part of the island to be faster reacting, so we can reduce the surges and all of that. We have Ukudu coming in, we have renewables coming in, so there has been some changes in the system. So we're looking at entirely at the whole sequence, the coordination and what else we have to do. The good thing, no blackout except for the area in the north. We didn't black out the other part of the island. Secondly, I believe it's a matter of fine-tuning what we need to do to get this and see what else we have to do to make this system more redundant. So the team are looking at that right now. So again, between 4:40 and 6:33, all customers were restored. Anderson Air Force Base was out of power for this period of time, and they came back at 7:32. So again, it was like a 3-4 hour period. Huge hit. Let me go to the next page. This is our system in the north. Here's Harmon. And again, when this happened, it knocked out Deju substation, it knocked out Jigu. It's already knocked out. There's no power coming from here because of blackout of Harmon, so therefore this was the only power coming this way towards the Marine base and all of that. And so it knocked out all of that eventually at about an hour later in the system. Again, we're working. We see what else we have to do in Harmon to make it even stronger. I think what we see now is more some potentially coordination issues that could be addressed. I'd like to say the team, 2 o'clock in the morning, everyone's asleep, no? Teams got out there right away, and within 3 to 4 hours, huge problem like this, our team got it back. So
How many
it's a-
customers affected? Not including your-
most all of Deredo.
Almost half, right?
Almost maybe 70% of Jigu, Anderson Air Force Base, and of course Marine Base Guam. From this area, NCS Panigajan area and all of that. So this whole area was affected.
Where's the redundancy then for the Air Force Base? What is their backup generator?
They have standby generators
On their own.
within their own. If you may recall, Mr. Chair, I've been pushing for energy storage batteries. Energy storage, in fact, is on the drawing here. This will really help. Remember, I was looking for 180 megawatts of energy storage batteries as part of a grant or something. And again, maybe coming to you in the next month or two with maybe 90 megawatts. We need to get going in getting this, but putting 45 megawatts at Anderson Air Force Base. So as a result of all of this, if they had that 45 megawatt, it would have served the Anderson Air Force Base for almost 24 hours. Here, Marine Base or in Ukudu area, and then the other one down at Naval Station. This now will provide, so even if we lost all the transmission like we did, and by the way, this is the first time in 13 years that this has happened. This is the first time this issue here at Armon is the first time in decades that this happened. So it's not like it's so. Maybe good is happening now, so we can double check everything. But so this is the only non-underground between Deredu and Armon system. And again, because this link went out, there's only the Jigu and Agreco diesels that are operating here in Jigu and feeding up to this area.
John, if the redundant transformer was online, it would have.
It may have saved us. Yeah, it may have saved us.
And
The
that's
problem
gonna be
is now you got all this power. Remember, the power is all coming up from PD, and so it goes 115 from the south up to Harmon, and then it steps down to 34.5 to feed to the other transmission. So we have two, ne? The one is out of service until about June, and then the other one. The good news is it burned the ground wire, and we were able to fix it, and the transformer's back in service. So our team get in, check everything, check the whole transformer. It was sweating there for a little while, but they were able to get it back. Yeah.
So John,
The transformer?
Yeah. Yeah.
so on the batteries for the northern side there that you're saying, you're doing it and trying to get, if everything is approved, 30 days or something, when would it be?
It takes about 2 years, year and a half to 2 years to put in batteries. A lot shorter time than renewables. But you don't have the big land area. You have to grade and everything. You're talking about maybe 4 acre property, flat, bringing in all of that. So it takes about
But that's
That's
for the
it.
132 meg.
no
That's
for when we go out for the again this will be April or May centralized energy storage battery.
System.
No, this will be not tied into any solar PV system. You'll be in
Standalone.
the standalone in the system tied into the transmission, so it can be charged by the solar in the daytime instead of or early morning when everybody's asleep, the demand goes down. We can use that capacity to charge it, and then we can release it anytime and stuff. That will alleviate the need for a lot of batteries on the island, no? That will alleviate the need of having to require even rooftop solar plants from having to put in batteries. Let GPA be the centralized battery, né? Because they just throw it in the 10 to 4 o'clock. We charge these batteries and then use it to save the peak.
Okay.
And that economies of scale allows us to bring. That's another way that will bring in the future lower cost renewables, because by not having them have to shift it,
batteries.
our battery will be paying for itself, and therefore we can get solar maybe around the 10 to 12 cents a kilowatt hour power, and get others to just produce that with and stuff. So that's the plan, and but again, where do we put it?
That's it.
Strategically located so that we can
Yeah.
ensure, because we are, it's a big
Connect.
shift and paradigm shift going just from conventional to so and so, and
So- I got a couple things.
Yeah.
Now that John Cruz is here, I saw the bid out for the battery charging stations. That's out, right? These are stations that we're gonna own, or? We have the EV managed charging. Right, but we will own it, right? This is our charging station.
A partnership.
Oh, with whoever's gonna build it?
Yeah,
So- Go
we
ahead.
will work with them, with the steering committee, to put up the charging stations. We won't necessarily own them.
So, for example, the ones that we now see, I know there's one in Agana Shopping Center. Is that somewhat the concept that we're thinking about? And what is our role in this?
Our role is to help facilitate the planning and the rollout of the data, of the
Charging
chargers
station.
out in the public.
Okay,
And also, we're gonna use that EV charging managed partner to help build the infrastructure to support the DPW with the busing charging station, and other GovCon requests for charging stations.
so really we won't be owning the charging station, but
Okay.
we'll be facilitating, and then we will make sure that
they do it right.
do it right, and of course it's our energy metering and
So
all
we're
of
like
that, right?
the
Yeah.
construction manager.
Yeah, we're not getting into it's not our core business, right? But
No,
it's
that's why I
to
was curious as to when
facilitate
I saw
all
the
of that.
bid go out.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I was under the impression that the private people want to do this on their own and put it on the
Yeah.
mall and wherever
Yeah.
they want to be. That's really on their own.
And again, by economies of scale, then
Yeah.
that would help lower costs depending on where they put
So
it,
we'll provide an
including
incentive rate to replace LEAC to make the charging more attractive,
Great.
right? But it's really structured like a PMC,
Good.
right? So there's really little cash for us to be
We can let them help DPW or the areas because everyone, is coming looking at us and
Well,
that's not.
Got that impression. Okay, and then the other one is, so Gura has all this so-called money that's out there. What are we doing? Because
We
they talk about
are
infrastructure,
meeting.
resiliency, and all this kind of stuff.
We're meeting tomorrow 8:30 to discuss that. We
Okay.
want to know what the funding can be utilized for, and if the funding
Where's
can
that
be
meeting at?
this year
Okay,
at
What time?
8:30 to 12, I believe.
12.
Yep. No, I don't know who said 8:30 to 12, but
Who's our lead?
both GPA and GW.
Okay. Now, I know you just, thank you for sharing the information on the generators. FEMA's not gonna pay us back for those generators as we had originally planned?
Which one?
Standby, or whatever?
Well, we don't have, it's kind of disappointing yet that we haven't had really real movements on our, yeah.
We kinda
Yeah.
expected that, John, to
Yeah.
be honest with you, because
Yeah.
I've never known FEMA to come forward. And in all these years that we've been working with them throughout, I mean, I am not opposed to Trump wiping them out, personally, because they seem to work fine at the onset when they're all coming to Guam, and all this kind of bad, and then after that, it just drags.
So we're
Yeah,
we're trying to rejuvenate the whole
discussion.
process, including with DOD and others, as to it's been 2.5 years since we, the question was placed before us: what do we need to do to improve, increase reliability? So we came up with a good plan, 6 billion, of course, which is inclusive of the top end of what we need. There was a 2.3 million tier 1, 2, and 3, which really would have gotten our water, wastewater, communication, medical facilities, and most of the island underground, so that recovery after a storm, they can run through a storm and recovery after a storm will be better. So we haven't had much traction on that, and so we're trying to move that along but in the meantime, we couldn't wait for one. The next thing they can wait for is the energy storage batteries. So that's why maybe tying it in. Hopefully, we can get reimbursed from them or something. But that's the process now because.
Okay, go ahead, Jennifer.
Can I just, sorry, sir, it's just, we did submit claims for a couple of generators that were actually damaged during the typhoon. So we are working to try to get those reimbursed, but the initial 103 was not
Not
part of
even
the
in the-
FEMA
okay.
claim, yeah.
Got it. Colleagues, anything else? No? Motion to adjourn. Oh, go, I'm sorry, Mr. Dwayne.
I commend you, John, and the team for hard work. We're fortunate to be able to work in the controls and the instrument, the safeties of the power plant that was mentioned. I look at the following picture, we are very vulnerable into the future here. Good that we are learning these things, but for example, when in the new plant of Cabras, will get 3 megawatts from that, but it's not working at all right now. So the CPs are over 25 years old, and puffing, and when something like this happens, the frequency really fluctuates and it puts a bind the turbines. So, I'm a little bit also skeptical with the pushing too hard and too fast with the new plant that, I like to see them test it out and make sure everything is in check rather than really push them to go online right away because things can happen. And if we're totally just dependent on this Okudo, which is, we're very hopeful everything will check out, but things can take place. And I think it's good to know that we are
we have the insurance with what we have right now to be able to support the island with the electricity. So I'm thinking maybe we really need to find a way and start planning for maybe another CT. If Gora can help in that area, we need something because as I hear the different CTs going on and coughing, the combustion turbine already blew up once, and we have a hard time in the Jigu CT. But this unit sometimes we need some kind of safety net, as you know from experience. And so I commend all the hard work, but as looking into the future here, I think we need to start planning for something more than just the new unit in Okudu that we're depending on. Just in case something happened, we can still depend and rely on, whether it's the reserve that you're talking about, or maybe another avenue. Start planning to the. It's good that we have some money, like you mentioned, into the coffer so that you can start planning towards this. But yeah, our CT are really working hard, but they're not made to really run all the way. They're fast track units to help the grid, but they're all running at their capacity right now. And so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all right, we are now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.